What's up, everybody? No external mic today, I'm sorry. Welcome to another video in the Ideal Auto Factory. We're gonna get right into it. I have the RDX right here. It's actually getting ready to go to a new home in roller form, and I just wanna get this video out before it goes away, heads to its new home in its kind of current state. So we're gonna talk about the cantilever front suspension, cantilever rear suspension. Let's get into the video. Keep God first. So here we are. This is where I'm going to be mostly. I'm going to be bringing it closer to the camera because I want to give you the best video possible. Clear instructions on what's happening. Not only instructions, but a clear display of how everything goes. Now, first things first. This is the Reve RDX, and this is a wrapped outclip RDX chassis. The actual carbon fiber is on the bottom, as you can see, and these are holes for their quote unquote downforce, where you add a fan and now you can turn that fan on and then basically increase the downforce of the chassis. Now, I don't believe all those claims. I just wanted something different, and clearly I wrapped it in red, so there we go, even more different. We're running OD HG V2 dampers on the front and the rear. And that's what we're basically going to talk about. The suspension setup. I gave you a clear rundown of the fans already. There they are. I put two in there and I raised the servo up. But let's not ramble on too much. Let's get into this here. The cantilever on the rear and the cantilever on the front. So here is the front end of the RDX self-sustained cantilever front suspension. Now, first off, anytime you want to get these, you're either going to have to go with the Shark IFS kit, or you're going to have to go with the MST FXX IFS kit. That's the two kits that I use to source these little rockers. Somebody else can make them. I don't care to 3D print them right now, but hey, maybe this video will motivate somebody to hook a brother up or something. I don't know. But either way, that's the first thing. Shark, Rhino Racing Shark IFS kit, or the MST FXX kit. You're gonna need these rockers. And after that, you can start getting creative. Now, what I did was I used some turnbuckles that I already had. But long story short, you don't need to get red ones. You can use whichever one you like. This here is a standard, like, steering turnbuckle, you know, like a turnbuckle that would go there. So I believe that's a 25 millimeter, somewhere in that ballpark, 25 millimeter turnbuckle. And then you would, trust me, go with the Yokomo 4.8 ball end, and then go with the Yokomo rod ends. Get yourself a kit. It's simple enough. And then you go ahead and you have your rockers, and then you even have your rod ends right here. Everything you need is there. Now, these are overdose HG V2 dampers, so this setup right here is a little different than what you might have, but whatever dampers you use, you'll have it. Back here, these are Amazon standoffs. Standoffs, these are like your standard, like 10 millimeter or a little bit less. 10 millimeter or more will get the job done. I'm actually going to get my caliper real quick and show you. So I got my calipers here, and I believe these are 25 millimeter. I just checked it a while ago. So you got 25 millimeters there. So you see right there, 25, pretty much 25 millimeters. And now you can check up here, 25 millimeters gets you in the right ballpark. All right. So now we got ball ends, we got ball studs, we got rod ends, we got turnbuckles, and we got this right here. So you're building this and you want to get a standoff in there. So you need basically grub screws to reach it. Now look, I have a spacer right here. There's a spacer right there. So that spacer is basically 10 millimeter. Where's 10? 9, that's 8 millimeter spacer. Let's see. So we got 10, 9, and 8. Let's see if it's an 8mm spacer. It is indeed a 8mm spacer. So 8mm spacer, 25mm standoff, and you got yourself a perfectly horizontal setup. Now, that's back here. We've covered this. We've covered the actual rocker. What is this? May look familiar. This is the Shark, Rhino Racing Shark IFS kit. Now, I originally had, mind you, I originally had everything set up right here, and then this standoff was not here, but this is the most user-friendly setup because it doesn't require drilling holes. So just follow this one that I'm showing you right now. Shark IFS kit. Get this piece and it bolts up right up where the old, I guess that's the old something used to be there. Oh yeah, the screws just go right in. And then you pretty much got this that bolts right up to a factory mounting point. And then there are, what size spacers are those in there? That is a basically, let's go with 5mm or 6mm spacer, somewhere around there. So now we've covered this, covered these, we've covered the rocker, we've covered the rocker holders and the spacer to bring it out enough. And we're on the first hole here. Now we can go over everything else that we missed. Here's another 25mm standoff. There we go. Another 25mm standoff, and then that's another spacer right there. So it's best to just get a lump sum of spacers. All of my spacers came off Amazon, and then also standoffs. As you can see here, there are some standoffs right there as well, but you can make that a spacer, and we already know that's about 5mm. And then you have a perfectly kind of like square setup to keep your body posts where they're supposed to be and everything. So that's the whole front end. Did I rush through it? Maybe, but I believe you got all the info there that you need. And then look, why did I even do this stuff in the first place? So I can adjust my ride height here. Don't have to mess with this. A lot of people, they spin this sucker all the way down or all the way back up, get you a little more ride height. But that's the main reason why I do this. And that is the front end. So we have the front end covered. 25mm standoff, like 8mm spacer here. Then we got MST FXX IFS kit, Shark IFS kit, this piece here. We got Yokomo ball and Yokomo rod ends. So this is a 25mm standoff, 25mm, and spacers. Again, like 5mm there. And then you need whatever your shock needs to mount to itself. And of course, this angle here. So you push up and the spring and the shock absorber goes back, the dampener goes back. That's the full front end. Now, let's go over the rear end. I'm going to tell you stuff to make yours more refined, and then we'll just get into it from there. Now back here, we'll start out with the turnbuckles. Let's go back to 25mm, see if that works still. Because I've never measured these. 25mm is a little too short, so I would go with a 30mm. 30mm turnbuckle for the rear. And again, we got spacers there. Seeing as though this is a rod end, I would, or a ball end, I would make that a standoff. So now a standoff that is 10mm, yep, 10mm standoff there. So we got 10mm standoff, 30mm turnbuckle. We already know what we're doing with these. I highly advise you to get the open-ended ones and not the kind of closed end. So instead of getting rod ends that look like this, get some that look like this. They're fully open. That way you can run all the angle you need no matter what right there. See, that's not binding up here, right there. That's not binding or anything no matter, but I can't get that sharp angle on this. tends to bind and stuff. So there goes the turnbuckles. You've seen these rockers before. That's another MST FXX IFS kit. What's this? More standoffs right there, coming right off of the shock like tower here, kind of like an MD1. That length is, if I can go to this side, yep, I can get it on that side. Let's measure, stop. That is a 20 millimeter. So 20 millimeter standoff. And then we simply get over to the front end, which is far from simple on this side. So this is all custom here. I highly recommend that you just stabilize what you have going on right there. So one thing's for certain, all right? Just stay with me here. We have a standoff here to extend the damper, right? So the damper stops there, and there's this long standoff, right? So instead of doing what I did here, all of this fancy stuff, look, get yourself a wrap up next or a servo mount, one of the wrap up next body mounts or the servo mount, so you can change how things mount. So this right here, see, originally, if I didn't have this servo mount, my servo would have to be flipped and basically wiping like this instead of wiping down like that. So come over here, right off the chassis, go way up, bring that out, and put a servo mount there. And then what you can do is just have this damper turn sideways. So instead of being mounted like this up and, you know, straight, this piece right here being, you can see through it like that. Instead of doing that, you see through it this way. And it's right there. So all this extra stuff is just me rushing. So I'm gonna save you all of that time. This is fully custom. It's a lot to explain, and it's not really ideal, which is why I was kind of hesitant on making this video, but I know y'all wanna see it. Some people wanna take the time to do it. Other people just wanna see it being done, and it's cool to explain it all. But this is not a stock deck. So when you go to if you got a regular RDX deck, that's pretty much all you got right there. You don't have all this extra stuff to really run off of. You just got the side, right, with the bracing, because it's, you know, it's raised edge or whatever from the stock RDX deck. So you're gonna use a hole that's over here. Honestly, you can use this one and then boom, you just run everything higher. So you can measure the length to get it perfectly horizontal now. To get it perfectly horizontal, because that was the goal. Get it perfectly horizontal, right? Horizontal here or parallel to the marching surface. Hey, military guy. So I'm going in, let's see how tall this is to get a perfectly parallel to the marching surface height. Your standoff combination needs to be roughly 50 millimeters. So 50 millimeters from the base all the way up. Now, let's do a little review. So we go from here all the way back to here. Forget all this extra bracing and stuff. Go from here all the way to here if you want to run this setup. Forget all the extra bracing. This bracing is involved to basically stop the damper from leaning back when you because before it starts to compress the spring, it'll just lean, like give. Like as if it's not actually compressing, but more like giving in, and you can't tune what's just giving. So I had to brace everything. Going so in depth with this is really awesome though, because explaining it all, it makes sense. But yeah, so you need roughly 50 millimeters to get all the way up there. And then you either run a servo mount or whatever you need to, and basically turn this damper sideways, and mount it up right there. So if you're using, I don't know, let's say you find yourself with some kind of random servo mount. Hold that right there. You take this piece, put it up here, you might only need like 40 millimeters. And then you screw that in, and then boop, it mounts there. So that pretty much covers all the grunt work there. Setup. This is a lot cleaner to see. But yeah, you're also going to need the standoff to screw into here for your damper as well, if you're trying to do something like this. It's just always great to have standoffs. That's just where it's at. But it's just this right here, this standoff, that's probably another 25 millimeters, you know? And then you'll need to extend it even more, so you probably need another 25 millimeters. So a 50 millimeter standoff, boop, brings it all the way back here. Again, bring it all the way back here and then mount it sideways. Notice that spur gear right here. So you gotta get it far enough out. It won't work. It won't work if you try to make this shorter and then you bring everything in some more, because it's gonna hit your spur gear. So don't worry about doing that. Keep it this width. Get yourself that 10 millimeter standoff, or 15, whatever I said. I gotta go back in the video. I'm showing this in such a way, like this is a little battery cover thing, and I sanded it so I could get a V shape or L shape, J shape, whatever you want to call it. And then I just use various turnbuckles and rod ends and stuff to make this work. That's way too much effort for a user-friendly setup. So this right here, I'm showing you, if you want to go for it, go for it. Please, by all means, go for it. But I'm giving you the simple solution. Take this damper, make it longer, come up here, and just mount it right there with the servo mount. All right, that's going to do it for today's video. I've shown you the full setup. We have basically discussed 2 MST FXX IFS kits and then 1 Shark IFS kit. And we already know the Shark one is kind of up there on the price, because it's all aluminum. And then you got the FXX one, which is plastic. So you're not cheaping out when you do something like this. Mainly, I do it because I like adjusting my ride height without changing that preload tension. So even back here, if my ride height's not high enough, I just adjust the turnbuckles back here, and I'm good to go. Thank you for watching this video. Highly detailed, a lot of discussion, highly detailed, a lot of explanation. Please comment down below, you know, whether it looks like a headache, whether you like it, whether it's cool looking, whether there's no point to it. Hey, it doesn't matter. Let me know in the comments what you think. Also, check that description box for all the details. I'm gonna make sure I write it up. And then also check out my RDX actual like write-up. I did one, I put it up on the site, trying new things. Hey, it's time, you know, we switch it up. Hey, I'm working towards some things, and I'm thankful for all of you that keep watching. I see the channel keeps growing, and I'm just thankful to be able to do life and be able to come back here, share more videos, and you guys keep watching. So keep God first, come to Him with all of your troubles, and He will give you rest and peace. Y'all, take it easy. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next video.